So let's talk about if statements and conditions. So one key element in programming is actually to decide what is going on. Like you have to branch out and say, okay, if this condition is met, then I want this to happen. If this condition is met, then I want something else to happen. And actually this is a key essence of what it means to program, and I want to kind of show you this because if you get this, it's quite nice to do different interactions. And what I want to do is something about when the mouse goes down here, I want this background to be black, like it's the sun, so the sun goes down and then the background becomes black. And the way if statements works is this. So if I write here, write if, and then something is true, then something is going to happen. So in this case, I have now that if something is true, then run whatever is inside these two curly brackets here. So when I run this, you can see we have our background. If I write false here, then the background is not there. It just turns into the default gray color. So whatever is here defines whether or not the background is drawn. But we can actually use this to add more to it. We can say else as well. So if we do else, then we can do another background and have a black background, and that's what I'm going for here. So I want like a dark blue starry night background. So this one should actually be pretty intense. So let's take this one instead. So this is the background we're playing with here. So right now it's true, so it runs this one here. But as soon as I say false, it's gonna run the other one in the background here. And that's because it says if, and then it says false, and then it says okay, shouldn't run this, and then goes down and say okay, let's do else here and run this one instead. So that's how an if statement works. It's a structure where you have a condition, and if that condition is met, then runs it. If the condition is not met, then it will do whatever the else statement says. So the question then becomes, what is a condition? And we can be pretty advanced here. So we can also say 2 equals 2. And then we have the blue background because 2 equals 2 is of course true. So if I say 2 equals 3, then it's false, it's not true. If I say 2 is less than 3, then it's true because that's true. But if I turned it around and say 2 is 2 bigger than 3, then the answer would be no, that's not true. So in that sense, we can always get kind of some mathematical logic to figuring out how to choose whether or not it's this one or this one we are running. And then of course, how do we make this interactive? Because right now we just have some, we can manually change it, but we can do that by using variables. And one of the one that is inside embedded in the system is the mouse position. And I don't even remember it, but I think it's mouse X. If mouse X is bigger than, and then we go down here to the grass and say 300, no, less than 300, then we want the background to be blue. So now it's blue, and then when I go down here, nothing happens. Why is nothing happening? X, Y, sorry, I need to have control of my coordinates. So now when I move the mouse down here, it will change it to a different color. So this line here with the grass basically becomes the change. When I move down to that, it will change to the dark night, and here it will be the sunny night. Because the mouse position represents the y-axis, the height here, and the value of the position. And when that value comes above 300, which is there, then we'll do it. And we can debug this. So remember, print is your friend. So when you're sitting here doing this stuff and you're like confused, how do I do it? Use print. So here you can see, okay, the mouse is getting bigger. You can see it down in the console. It's 260, 270, 280, 290. And then as soon as it turns 300, then the color changes because then mouse Y is bigger. So it has to be 301 in that case. I don't know, should it be that? Let me see. As long as it's less than, so yeah, so 299. As long as it's 299, it will be this color, and as soon as I go down here, it will be 300. All right, so that's the basic kind of premise of if statements and how they work. And remember again, we have these kind of scopy things going on where you have the start and the end of the scope. So we actually have our first interactive program here. I want to do one more thing. Just for the fun of it, I want to make a sun. So I'm gonna make a comment here and write sun, and then I'm gonna do a rect, and then I'm gonna place the rect on the x-axis. I'm gonna do it in the middle, so it's 250. No, 300. A little bit off to the side, 350. And then mouse Y, I'm gonna do, and the position in the y-axis is gonna be the mouse, and then it's gonna be like 30, 30. So this is our sun. But before we do that, and I wrote rect, so here we already can see like this is a really weird squared sun. Okay, we need to do ellipse, of course, but let me just get the yellow color. It's gotta be a warm yellow color. There it is. Okay, so let's take this one here and add that one to it. So now we have a beautiful squared sun. Okay, well, maybe we should just do it to make it surreal, but I mean, we can quickly do this. So now I can move the sun up and down, and as soon as it goes down, it kind of stops here, like that. So, good. We have made our first little interactive drawing thingy bob.